Hi everyone, I'm April and you're watching The Tangled Cat Speaks. All right, so it's mid-April and I've got a little bit of progress on some projects for you. So let's go ahead and get started. This is a primarily a knitting and crochet podcast where I talk about the things that I've been working on. Sometimes I talk about reading books and shows that I've been watching, but primarily yarn play. So I am here in Rio Rancho, New Mexico, which is just outside of Albuquerque. And I have a phone call. Hold on. Okay, that was the air and heating company calling to make an appointment to schedule the conversion from my heater to my AC since it's starting to warm up. So yay, got that all taken care of. Let's see. Sorry, allergies again. All summer, all spring and all summer allergies. And I am the Tangled Cat on Instagram. I hear somebody using a leaf blower outside. So if you could hear that, I'm sorry. So I do have, like I said, several projects that I can show you some progress on. I only have one finished object, and I don't have that with me because my daughter took it. It was a beanie I decided to start because the projects that I'm working on are all very long-term type of projects. So I needed something more instant gratification type thing. So I did a beanie, and it was it was worsted weight. I don't know if it was worsted weight or DK, but I held two strands of fingering weight together, and it was Knit Picks Capretta. Let's see, one was called Angel Light Heather and the other one was Moonstone Heather or something like that. They're both very, very pale, and from far away they kind of look like a gray, but if you really look at them up close, one is like a bluer color and the other one is kind of more of a really light green color. But they're very, very similar, and since I only had one of each color, I couldn't hold two strands of one color together, so I chose to get those two. Even though they're different but very similar, I thought it would give the overall project a nice depth of color. I didn't want anything too contrasting in the two strands that I held together to get the right weight. I didn't want too contrasting because then it would kind of overtake the patterning. It's the beanie is done with a lot of knit and purl texture patterning, so I didn't want it to get all lost. And I can show you a picture of the beanie here because I did take a picture of it of myself wearing it before my daughter decided she liked it and wanted it for her own. So that is the only finished object that I got done this past month. I did get some work done, quite a bit of work done on a few other things, mainly the cotton crochet that I've been doing. I don't know if I have a stitch marker on here, but this was the cotton crochet blanket that I'm doing. I don't have a stitch marker. It's Shipia's Katona cotton, and it was 109 mini balls multi-pack. And I had started another blanket, and then I decided that I didn't like the gauge on that, so I restarted it using a smaller hook. And let's see, that's the bottom. The last time I showed this, I believe, down here. I was down by this brown, I believe. So this is what I got done this past month, all of this. So I finally finished all of the yarn that was already in the first blanket attempt. Oh, she's gonna knock something off of that desk. Freya. She's feisty today. So this is what I got done. And the other blanket is completely pulled out and reintegrated into this one. So now I'm pulling randomly from the bag of little minis. And I told you that I was using whatever's left of each little ball from that row, that single row in the blanket goes into this crocheted granny square. So this is what that looks like. I love how this is turning out. And then this, and whatever happens to be left from that little bit ends up in this very scrappy corner to corner scarf. And I'm really liking that too. It's kind of funky, kind of wild. And I think it's just gonna be fun to throw up under your coat in the winter. It's kind of a tight fabric. So even though it's cotton, I think it'll still be really, really warm. So that's the progress I got done on that. Can you hear the leaf blower? Had to be. They weren't doing anything until I turned on the camera. Ay, ay, ay. It's very frustrating. I'm just gonna have to live with it because it could be there all day. It's the Homeowners Association. They do the maintenance of the front yards in this neighborhood. And so a couple times a year, they send someone around with the leaf blower and do everybody's front yards. And so he's at the neighbor's now, the neighbor to the right of me. He'll come and do mine, and then he'll come and do the neighbor to the left of me. So this is going to go on for a while. I'm sorry. So let's go ahead and try. I'll try to talk a little louder. If I don't do this podcast now, I'm not going to get it done today. Today was, I really, really wanted to do the podcast today. And I really have to think about doing it because I woke up, I didn't sleep good last night, and I woke up with a migraine. And so I took my medicine and I had a cup of coffee, and the migraine is diminished. I don't know if you have history with, if you know anything about migraines. Sometimes it feels like, sorry, I got it. Oh my gosh, I am all over the place. Oh, I got a piece of fluff. If you know anything about migraines, sometimes when you get them to the pain to go away, sometimes it's kind of lingers, just kind of annoyingly in the background, and sometimes it can blossom again. And that's kind of where I'm at. The major pain is gone, and now there's just this kind of is it gonna come out again? Most times it doesn't, but it's there. And every now and then I have had it, re-blossom. I always call it blossom because I always picture just blossom sounds better than explosion. Anyway, so I really wanted to get this done now that the headache is on the back burner. This is my temperature shawl that I've been working on, and I am up to date as of yesterday. I haven't worked on it yet this morning. So January, February, and March, and now the first few days of April. And I am loving it so much. I'm excited. I'm very excited to see what summer does with these colors. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be in these 3 colors here. Yes, there is 3 different colors there. There's this one, and then this very dark green. But I think most of the summer is going to be in these 3 colors. I have, I think, 2 or 3 other colors in higher ranges that I might possibly get into. But those are over 95 degrees. So I'm sure we'll get into them, but probably not as much. I think I'm going to be mostly in those 3 colors. But I'm excited. I'm really loving it, and I'm having a lot of fun. I'm surprised. I've been keeping up on it every day. I get up, I check the temperature of the previous day, and I knit that row, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. The other thing that I have been working on is my Spring Connection jacket by Drops. And I am just about done with the sleeves. I told you I was going to knit these. Oh, I'm halfway through this row. That's cute. I am mostly done with the sleeve. I just have to do sorry, this is the back side because I'm knitting on it still. There's the cuffs that are different colors. And so now I'm at the part where I'm going to start knitting the decreases for the cap sleeve, or the cap, whatever that's called. Then after that, it's all a matter of me trying to figure out how to set in the sleeves. I've never done that before, and I am very, very, very nervous about it. I've been looking up different videos to try and familiarize myself with it. So crossing fingers for that one. Hopefully it turns out really well, because my son has decided he would like me to knit him a sweater with all over cables. And the one that he settled on, because we sat and went through a lot of different Ravelry patterns together, and he settled on one, and that one also has set in sleeves. Why couldn't we pick a raglan sweater? So we'll see how that goes. But I am making, like I said, I'm working on a little bit of each one of these every single day. So it may be 2 rows of one and 1 row of the other, and several rows of another, just whatever I happen to feel, but I am working on all of those every single day. So it kind of feels like I'm not getting anywhere, but yet it does feel like I'm getting somewhere, because I am working on everything. I'm not trying to leave any one of these behind, because I really want to get all of these done. But I decided that I wanted to start a couple new things. Like I told you, I did that beanie. And now what I did, Helen and Mary Beth from Toad Hollow, they have the Crafty Toads podcast. They are doing a knit along with the Boho Blush Shawl by Andrea Mowry. And I decided I was going to knit along. So this is where I am on that. So this is the Toad Hollow sock. I can't remember what it is. Is it 100% sock, or is it just sock toad? I think it's sock toad. And it required 3 skeins of yarn, and I wanted to do it all in one color, but I didn't have 3 skeins of one color. I had 2 skeins of one, and then a third of one that I thought might look similar. And in the skein form, they did look rather similar, but when I kicked them up, that third one was just looks very, very different, but it seems to be blending in okay. Let me show you those. So this is the one that I had 2 skeins of, and this is called Becky, and this is the last bit of what I have of the second skein. And it's just it looks kind of bluer here, but it's just a really pale mint green with speckles, light speckles of different colors. And then the other one was called She Sailed Across the Ocean. Now when I looked at looked at them in skein form, it was this, and then the other one looked very much like this with some blue splattered in, but when I kicked it up, there was a lot more blue than I had expected. So I'm loving it very much. I am doing a fade, and it turns out that blue, even though there seems to be a lot of blue now, he's in my front door. It's like Jason is outside my door trying to get me. But that's the back side. Let's see. But they're fading in really, really well. That bluer one has a lot of that pale green in between the blips of blue, so they are blending really, really well. And I'm done with the fading, so from this point on, I'm going to be using just the She Sailed Across the Ocean. My God, this is a mess. What a terrible podcast. I'm so sorry, but I really wanted to get this done. I think he moved on. Or maybe he ran out of gas for his blower. But I'm really, really loving it. I've only got 2 sections left. And then I'm trying to decide if I want to do the fringe on the bottom. I don't generally care for fringe, but maybe I should get out of my comfort zone once in a while. So I'm still debating on that. But I'm almost done. Helen and Mary Beth, the Crafty Toads, had given us all month to work on this knit along. But I've been so into it, I just, whenever I get done with something else, I just spend most of my time working on that. And they talk so much also about cross stitch. And I used to do cross stitch years and years ago. That was my first foray into crafting. Oh, almost 30 years ago. And then I stopped doing it because I found crochet, and then I found knitting, and I haven't done it since. But I decided, because they talk about it a lot, and it just has been so mesmerizing seeing all of their projects. And I watch other podcasters too that talk about their cross stitch. So now she's on the windowsill looking at the blower dude. But they enticed me to get back into cross stitching, and I went on to what is it called? I think it was 1, 2, 3 stitch, or was it everything cross stitch? It was either 1, 2, 3 stitch or everything cross stitch. I know I checked both sites, but I bought all 4 of the lavender and lace Celtic season ladies, and I started spring, and I'm using all of the called for colors except for anything that wasn't DMC. I found conversions to get into DMC. The only thing that I haven't gotten yet are the beads. I still have to order those, but I did start this, and I'm using I know everybody talks about the fabric that I'm using. This is also the first time that I've ever done cross stitch on linen. I always did Aida, and I decided I wanted to try linen, so I bought those magnifying light up magnifier things, glasses. I don't know. I look very silly, and every time I put them on, my daughter laughs at me, but that's okay. I love her anyway. They're kind of heavy though, so I only work on this for about an hour and a half at a time because it starts to hurt the bridge of my nose. But they work really, really well. This is, it called for 28 count linen, but I chose 32 count, so the holes are a little bit smaller than what it was recommended. But I like how it's working out, and those magnifying glasses are really, really helping. So this is what I've got done so far. And this is on Belfast linen, and the color is called Opalescent Raw. And you can see it's got a glittery effect to it, which I thought I was worried about. I thought that was going to really affect my being able to see the holes, but it wasn't. With those glasses, I could see anything. But so far, this is what I've got. I've got some purple. I started some of the gold detailing. Where did that photo go? Yeah, you could see. So I started right about here. I'm going along this edge this way. And so this is spring. I also have everything all kitted up for summer, fall, or summer, autumn, and winter. I have everything all kitted up. Like I said, all I needed to get are the beads. And I don't have any kind of special cross stitch project bag. I haven't gotten that far yet. So I've got these giant gallon size Ziploc bags, and I've got all my colors. These are the ones I've used so far. on this little ring. I don't know if I like that setup, but it's fine. It's working for now. And I'm having a really good time getting back into cross stitch. I forgot how much I really like it. And I'm just having so much fun. And all of these little stitch markers that I have here are to keep the ends folded so that they don't fray. I keep meaning to get, what's it called? Masking tape to put over, or maybe painter's tape would be better, to leave less residue. But I need something to put over those edges so that they don't fray. I don't have a sewing machine, so I couldn't, what is it? Is it called basting the edges? I don't know much about sewing. But I don't have a sewing machine to do that, and I wasn't going to do that by hand. So I folded it down and I put stitch markers. It works. But that's what I've been working on. I was very, very excited to get into cross stitching, get back into it. Yeah, that's pretty much all I've been doing. Like I say, I don't have a whole lot more to show you because this is the same stuff, except for those couple of new things. This is the same stuff I've been doing, just working a little bit at a time to try to get them done. I'm very pleased with my progress since I am working on multiple things at the same time. It just feels kind of meditative to just pull out the same thing and just work on it. I don't feel, even though I've got tons of things going on, I don't feel frenzied because I know I'm going to just work a little bit at a time, and I know that eventually it's going to get to where I need to get. The only thing that I did kind of put by the wayside again is the second sock for the spring heart socks that I was so excited that I finished the first one. And I got started on the leg of the second one, and then I just haven't picked it up because I got so into all of this other stuff. But I'll pick that one back up. I definitely want to get that done within the next few months. I've done a lot of reading. I'm gonna grab my book here, and I'm sorry, my allergies, I keep itching my nose. I've done quite a bit of reading. I have audiobooks, physical books, and ebooks. And I've been going through quite a bit. I'm going to just list a few that I did. Let's see. So I listened to The Good Turn, which was a Cormac, I might have mentioned this on the last one, but this is a Cormac Riley mystery. Actually, I did mention this one because I think I said Scottish and it's Irish. It's set in Ireland, not Scotland. Anyway, it was The Good Turn by Dervla McTiernan. Really loved that one. That one was on audio, and again, I loved the narrator. Let's see. I finished up the series that I was reading by Walter Satterthwaite. It was the Joshua Croft mysteries, and I mentioned that those are set here in New Mexico, mainly Santa Fe. And I really liked those because I don't always get to hear places that I'm familiar with in a book. So I finished that series. It was a set of 5. And then I took all 5 of them because I had them all in paperback. I took all 5 of them to one of those little, I think they're called little free libraries where somebody sets up like some sort of box and puts in books, and then you kind of go in and take one and leave one, honor system kind of thing. I found one nearby where I live, and I took those 5 books and I put them in that little library, and then I took another book out. And I don't remember. Oh, it was, I happened to find a really good copy of Bless Me Ultima by Rudolph Anaya. And I had read that a long time ago, but I never owned a copy. So now I've got it seems brand new from that little library. So I'm super excited about that. So now I've got some other books that I want to go and take, and I have so much fun with these little libraries. And I know there's a few other ones in Albuquerque that are kind of close by to where I'm at. So I want to go take a peek at those. I just find it so cool that people are just sharing books for free. Love it. And some people decorate their little free library boxes, just so cute. And then let's see, I read The Crystal Cave, which is a part of the Arthurian saga by Mary Stewart. And I am now on to the second one in the series called The Hollow Hills. And I'm only about that far in. I've still got quite a ways to go. There are 5 in the series, and I'm just taking these kind of slow, hoping to read 2 a month. I did a lot of Star Wars. And let's see, just to list some of those off, I did Most Wanted and Solo. And now that I just finished Solo last night, so I'm going to go ahead, and that one was a novelization of a movie. So I'm going to go rewatch the movie now that I finished the book and kind of compare the differences in my mind. I listened to The Mysterious Affair at Styles by Agatha Christie, and this one was really cool, an audio book version on Audible that was read by Richard Armitage. You might be familiar with him in The Hobbit movie series by Peter Jackson. He played the main dwarf Thorin Oakenshield. He's got a very deep voice, and he did, I was surprised, he did Hercule Poirot really, really well, and I was very pleased to listen to that. And let's see, I listened to an audiobook called Endurance. I believe it's by Alfred Lansing, and it is based on the voyage of the Endurance in 1915, with Ernest Shackleton. And I've read this before, long time ago, and I was on a road trip just recently with my son, and we couldn't really vibe with the same types of music to listen to on the road trip, so we decided on an audiobook, and he wanted something where people are overcoming real life hardships. And so I remembered this book, and so we put it on audio. I had read an actual book of it before. I'd never listened to it, and it was amazing listening to it. Oh, the person who read it was so good and just really brought it to life. My son was very impressed with it. We only got about halfway through the audiobook on our trip. But he wanted me to buy him the actual book so that he can finish reading it, because he was really, really interested in what was going on. He really liked it. So I went ahead and bought him the book. So that was Endurance. It's just a very, very scary and sad. It's very scary to me because these things that they describe really happened. And I just can't imagine the things that these men endured and for so long. It's just an amazing, amazing story, and I teared up because I'm a big baby. Then I decided to go back into a few other books that I had read as a kid. And so these are really short books, but it was kind of nice to have kind of like a palate cleanser in between some heavier things that I have been reading. So I read The Velveteen Rabbit and Rikki Tikki Tavi. I'm sure you all know The Velveteen Rabbit is about a toy rabbit who wants to become real. And super, super adorable story. I loved it. I still love it. And then I read Rikki Tikki Tavi, which I have never read before. It's part of the Jungle Book. I only remember it from when I was a kid back in the 70s, and there was an animated movie about it. And I adored that movie as a kid. And I honestly didn't know that it was part of the Jungle Book until a few years ago. But for some reason, I decided to get the Rikki Tikki Tavi story on my Kindle. And I read it, and I realized that they really did follow the book almost word for word in that animated movie, which I do own, by the way. I got that on DVD because I really loved it, and I wanted to show that to my children. I was so happy reading both The Velveteen Rabbit and Rikki Tikki Tavi. It just brought back so much nostalgic feelings, and it really did kind of lighten my mood because of some of these heavier books that I've been reading. So that was really, really awesome. Let's see. I think I told you that a while back that I read Terminal Man by Michael Crichton. I'm doing a monthly Michael Crichton read along with some people that I found through Mike's book reviews on YouTube. He's got a Discord, and there are people doing this read along, and they're doing one Michael Crichton book a month. So we did Andromeda Strain, and then Terminal Man, and this month for April was The Great Train Robbery, and it's very different. The first two were very, very much sci-fi. This one is more historical mystery based on a true event, and it's written very, very differently than the first two, but I'm really, really enjoying it. It kind of makes me think of what do you call it? It was in my brain a minute ago. Oh, the Suspicions of Mr. Witcher. I don't know if I've mentioned that on this podcast before, but it's a kind of like a true crime novel or true crime book about a detective in the Victorian era, you know, where you hear a lot of what happened in the courtroom, what this witness said, and blah blah blah. And then it also goes into a little bit of probably artistic license by the author to bring some drama to it and bring dialogue that may or may not have happened between all of the different players. But the way that it's set up also kind of reminds me of Ocean's 11, because it's telling you, I don't know if you know that movie, Ocean's 11. You know, the one where Brad Pitt eats in every scene, very hilarious. Anyway, it's kind of like that, because they're introducing you to all of the people who are doing their little part in this robbery, and each person has their own specific job, and so they're introducing you to all of these characters. And so I'm finding it really, really fun. It's what I call potato chip reading, kind of like potato chip knitting. You just want to do one more row, you just want to turn one more page, read one more chapter. So I really, really, really enjoyed The Great Train Robbery by Michael Crichton. Oh, and something else I wanted to bring up. I mentioned that I used to be a 911 operator. This week, starting this week through today, which is Monday, and then all the way through Sunday, is National Telecommunicators Appreciation Week. And if you didn't know, telecommunicator is the technical term for a 911 operator or a dispatcher. And so this is the Appreciation Week. And I just wanted to mention it so that you could think about first responders maybe a little bit differently, because most people, when they hear first responder, they think police, paramedics, firefighters, ambulance drivers. But really, your 911 operator is part of that first responder system. And like I said, I did it for 25 years, and I know how hard that job is. And it takes a lot. And I just would like for you to maybe think about that, and, you know, maybe just say thank you, you know, because they do a tough job, and they have to do it over and over and over every single day. It's a 24-hour shift type of job. You know, they're never closed all the time, holidays, weekends. Sometimes they have to miss family events because they got to work. You know, they're never closed, and people don't often recognize what they have to do before the paramedics, the police officers, and the firefighters actually arrive on scene. It's a tough job. So, you know, think about that this week and maybe give some appreciation. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for visiting with me. I welcome you here. If you are a returning viewer, thank you for coming back. If you are new to me, thank you for joining me. And I hope that you do come back. Please hit like and subscribe and all of that. And come be a part of my little rambling session of nonsense. Oh, I forgot to mention what I'm wearing. This is my shawl called Sage and Stone. This is a shawl that I'm not even going to lie, I'm still wearing my pajamas because I was trying to get over my headache and I didn't feel like putting clothes on. But this is my Sage and Stone shawl that I designed. I think I mentioned 8 million times on this channel how much I love Avi Kaplan. And he's got a song called Sage and Stone. And this was designed with that as my inspiration. I really probably should not have taken this off and shown you my pajamas underneath. I probably just should have shown you a finished picture of me holding it up all posed and stuff. Anyway, on Lovecrafts, and I think I only have it listed for like $4. I don't have very many patterns out. I don't have them on Ravelry, they're on Lovecraft. I have a few that I'm still drawing up notes and writing up patterns on, but I haven't really gotten to do that too much since we went into lockdown, because I would go to the library and use their computer, because as I mentioned before, I don't have a computer at home. I only have my cell phone. And so it's hard for me to draw up, draft, write, edit, and everything, my patterns. So I have to go to the library, but I haven't been able to get into the library to sit and use a computer for over a year now. So there's that. I love it. This was Malabrigo Rios, which is I think a sport weight. This is Plomo, and I don't remember this color, but it's a very pretty green that has a little bit of that gray, but they're both Malabrigo Rios. Very fun. So again, that's all I have. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week and a rest of your month. And I hope to see you again next time. Stay happy. Bye.